Guys like Adam Schiff and Shifty Pencil Neck. Pencil Neck. He's a marvel. No, he's a structural marvel. He has a neck, and his head is like a watermelon, and his neck. And how that neck can hold up that big, oversized, ugly head is hard to believe. No, it's true. It's true. Big head. It's like your finger on a basketball. Some of these guys, they spin it. No, he's a terrible guy. Guys like Adam Schiff and Shifty Pencil Neck.
Pencil Neck. Guys, I don't make fun of the way people look. All I'm doing is just showing evidence that Donald Trump is right. Hey, where's the video? Here we go. It's this video right here. Rachel Maddow, people. Never forget what they put America through for 3 years.
To be with you.
So what is your reaction to this news tonight in which President Trump said he wouldn't call the FBI if he was approached by a foreign country with information he could use on his 2020?
What is it about these two people that they're actually the most physically nauseating, disgusting people on the planet, tied among others?
Opponent. He might accept that information. He says FBI Director Chris Wray is wrong if he thinks the correct thing to do there would be to call the FBI.
He's a marvel, people. He's a marvel.
At first you're shocked, and then, of course, you realize, yes, that's exactly him. There is no ethical standard. There is no bar below which he will not go.
Can you appreciate the confession through projection? These disgusting, filthy, pathological liars, ugly inside and out. And the irony is that if they weren't ugly inside, they wouldn't be ugly on the outside. The inside influences, affects the outside, and it can turn a beautiful person into an awful demon. And it can turn an otherwise physically unattractive person, like me, into an otherwise more attractive person because they are nice, because they are fun to be around. Can you imagine hanging out with Adam Schiff or Rachel Maddow? Like, what are they like when they're not on the air lying to the American people? Do they become trustworthy people to friends and family? Oh, I've always wanted to know that. So, look, we're going to have to add a subject matter to the menu for tonight, but I've been going back and just pulling out a few videos because they are all the more relevant tonight. The big news is Ron DeSantis just suspended his campaign. I don't know why they say suspended the campaign instead of ended his campaign. He has suspended his campaign and wholeheartedly endorsed Donald Trump. I'm proud to say, if I can toot my own horn, I've been saying it for a while, but I literally just tweeted out yesterday, Ron DeSantis should end his campaign. What did I say? He should, I forget the word I said. I'll pull up the tweet in a second. But Trump is going around doing the victory lap. This is not from anything to do with DeSantis suspending his campaign. This is a video that, who put this out the other day? Oh yes, the Republicans against Trump. Hold on, watch this video. People think this makes Trump look bad. I just want to point out, he's doing his utmost to actually not make any contact with her boobies. He's signing a shirt of a very happy adult, asking him to sign her shirt. I don't even think he's touching it with his palm. Oh, I'm surprised I didn't go after that. Now let's just see what the Republicans against Trump had to say. It's so stupid to create titles like this when everybody knows exactly what this is. Can you imagine how the media would react if Biden or any other candidate did this? Well, first of all, people, it would literally be like that scene out of Happy Gilmore when Shooter McGavin is looking over at Happy, who's actually signing a young and old woman's chest. And then Shooter McGavin looks over at his crowd and he's like, nobody here is attractive or asking me to do that. They're all like a bunch of nerdlingers asking me to sign pads of paper. Can you imagine it? A, No, because it's not happening. Because Joe Biden can't string together a sentence, let alone campaign, let alone go out past 6 o'clock where it's his bedtime. A. B, no, I can't imagine it because that woman is clearly too old for Joe Biden. He prefers younger girls who can't consent to being sniffed. C, there's absolutely nothing wrong with what we just saw. People are going, I was like, oh my goodness, Trump just signed a woman's tits. I was like, excuse me, you pathological liar. I believe he signed her shirt. And I'm genuinely thinking about this. If it were a man and he signed at the chest level, where you typically have a little, pocket, a pad, a logo, would anyone say anything about it? In a world of equality, what's he supposed to say? I'm sorry, young lady, I can't sign on your chest. You have boobies there, and that would be absolutely unethical of me. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. It's actually amazing. If anybody thinks that they're going to make Trump look bad by him delicately and specifically only putting that pen to her shirt, signing the shirt of an adult who asked him to do it in a respectful manner, I think you just earned Trump a few votes. That was a video from yesterday. That had nothing to do with the news from today. The news from today, and we are certainly talk about it in a few seconds. Why did I bring this one up? Well, I was going to start with a Nikki Haley. Oh, here, we're going to play with this one. Citizen Free Press. This is when you understand that Trump, although he fights hard in battle, when the battle is over, the battle is over. In the practice of law, and for those of you who don't necessarily know this, I practiced law. 2005, I was doing student work. 2006, I did my stage, my internship. 2007, I was sworn in. I practiced until 2020 some odd. The practice was very minimal, especially during COVID when I only kept a few clients. I have 13 years of active practice. I would be a hard ass in the context of the practice. Respectful, but a hard ass. Mean, aggressive, demanding. And then when the deposition was over, when the lawyers are walking out of the courtroom, I could easily just turn it back off and go back to, all right, man, no, you got me good in there, or I got you good in there. Some lawyers could turn it off, some lawyers couldn't. Some lawyers never really forgave me for, destroying them in the heat of the battle. Trump can turn it off. And now it's time for Team DeSantis to turn it off. Team DeSantis himself has, put out a very nice endorsement of Trump. But hold on. So when asked whether or not Trump will be using the DeSanctimonious, hashtag DeSanctimonious, here's what he said about it.
Okay. He just said, will I be using the name Ron DeSanctimonious? I said, that name is officially retired.
I say this knowing that I like Trump. How can anyone look at that and not like that? Can you just like juxtapose that man with Joe Biden? No kidding, folks. I need money for my campaign. It's officially, he could have said the term DeSanctimonious, it's fired. That would have gotten the crowd up as well. How can you look at that guy and not like him? I mean, the problem is like when you impute and you impose all of your internal hatred, all of your internal anger, resentment, disappointment in life, and you put it on that man, then I can understand how you can't like him. And that's exactly what the media has brainwashed people into doing. Angry about life, angry about the state of your life, the state of the world, everything that you thought you were entitled to and deserved in life didn't come true. It's Trump's fault. Oh, wait, we're going to get to a couple more here. Oh, no. Okay, so that's it for Trump. We're going to talk about it because obviously do I bring up the tweet where I put it up yesterday? Is this the tweet? I don't want to, let me see something here. Is this the tweet? What is this? Oh, no, that's just Joe Scarborough. We'll get back to that later. Maybe I'll come back to that one tomorrow. I keep notes for future shows. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to play you a video after I do the intro and thank our sponsor. Holy crap. I put out a video summarizing the week of the WEF at Davos. They're not sending their brightest. It went from evil geniuses to evil morons. And that's who they're sending to Davos, and that's who's representing the world. Okay, but hold on. Before we get there, good evening. For those of you who don't know me, anybody new to the channel, where the hell have you been? Viva Frei, former Montreal litigator, as you now know, turned current Florida rumbler. You want some merch, go to vivafrei.com. Hold on, where's my shot glass? No, I know I have it here because I'm going to use it later. The heck is... Whatever, here, hold on, there's a couple up here. Oh, yeah. Wanted for president, people. You're getting closer. We are getting closer. Go to vivafrei.com to get a slew of merch. But what I was going to say is, I'm a Montreal litigator. This is our Sunday show that I do with Robert Barnes. We have an amazing community, vivabarneslaw.locals.com. We start on YouTube, Rumble, and Locals. After about a half an hour, we end on YouTube, and we go over to Locals because I'm exclusive there, and we should also support the platforms that support free speech. The stream in its entirety or clips goes up to YouTube the next day or throughout the week. YouTube gets the stale leftovers. You want to watch the live show, it's on Rumble, which I believe, yeah, the link is pinned in the chat. And if you want to go over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com now, hold on one second. Why am I not in the chat? I should have made sure we're good here. We're good here? Okay, we're good here, and I see my face. If you want to come over now to vivabarneslaw.locals.com, there it is. And for those of you who don't know my real name, it's David Freiheit. Freiheit means free. Dumb, freedom, freedom in German. Freiheit. Nomen es omen. The name leaves the symbol. Okay, so that's it. That's what we do. We're going to end here soon. Barnes comes in. We have an amazing show for tonight. The thing I was just about to tell you is, oh, that's right. As you came into the stream, you may have noticed it said, this stream contains a paid sponsor. Because it does. Because I've hit the big leagues, people, and not only do I get to have the luxury of the honor of having sponsors, I get to have the luxury and the honor of having sponsors that I love. All of them. Tonight, fieldofgreens.com. It's a little known fact, people. You know, I say this like, as Joe Rogan says, this one's easy. It's a little known fact, although I think I remind everybody weekly that you're supposed to have between 5 and 7 servings of raw fruits and vegetables a day. Today, I had a lot, probably more than I should. I'll be feeling it in the morning. But most people do not have 5 to 7 servings of raw fruits and vegetables daily. Most people have bad dietary habits. Most people have bad sleep habits, and it takes its impact on you in life. And most people have bad habits, period. Afternoon, you go suck down a disgusting chemical-filled Diet Coke or disgusting sugar-filled Red Bull. Don't. 1 spoonful of Field of Greens contains 1 serving of raw fruits and vegetables, or 1 serving of fruits and vegetables. It contains all of the antioxidants, all of the good-for-you nutrients. It tastes delicious. I jokingly say it looks like swamp water, but swamp water looks that way because it's rich in nutrients. It's the sustenance of life. You do this 1 spoonful twice a day, you get 2 servings of fruits and vegetables, all of the antioxidant, wonderful, miraculous stuff of it. It's not a supplement, and it's not an extract. It's a food. Hence, can we zoom in on this? Yeah, here you go. Hence why you can see it is USDA organic, because it's a food and not a supplement or an extract. And it's delicious and it's great. They got a bunch of flavors. If you're traveling, you can't get vegetables, carry around a pack of this. Stir it around, drink it down. It's a healthy habit. It will make you feel good. And it will also substitute an unhealthy habit for a healthy one. And I like to say life is about substituting the unhealthy habits for the healthy habits. You go to fieldofgreens.com. It'll bring you to Brickhouse Nutrition. Promo code VIVA, you get 15% off your first order. All right. Thank you, Field of Greens. The link is in the description as well. And it's delicious, and I have it myself virtually every day. Now, I said I was going to show you something. We're going to go from healthiness to something that's going to make you want to scratch out your eyeballs. And I was going to play for you my highly edited version where I did what I once did to a Justin Trudeau speech and just edited out all of the verbal diarrhea and just included the because it's insufferable. For those of you who don't know who this is, Alex Soros, who is George Soros's son. Yeah, it's not his grandson, it's his son. Is in Davos because, you know, this is the unelected elite who get to dictate policy and influence governments. The unelected cabal who get to penetrate the cabinets and impose their will on elected officials, though unelected themselves, through hook or by crook. This man he's a freaking genius. Think what you want of George Soros. As evil as he is, he's smart. I'm not sure I can say the same for Mr. Alex Soros. Listen to these words of pure wisdom.
You know, I don't
unedited,
think that's the fundamental. I don't think the technology is.
I'm going to stop there for a second. First of all, that vocal fry is like it's like taking a meat thermometer and smashing it into your ears with a ball peen hammer. That's actually from Saturday Night Live. I forget which one. You know, it's like taking a ball peen hammer. This is like nails on a chalkboard. It's not just women that have vocal fry people. A lot of people like it's a bad habit for my experience. Not always a hard and fast rule, but someone who's unintelligent trying to sound intelligent sounds like this. And I'm going to start from the beginning, and I'm not going to interrupt it. And bear in mind, this is an unedited 2-minute and 14-second clip.
But you know, I don't think that that's the fundamental. I don't think the technology is the fundamental issue in democracy. Democracy is messy. I mean, you know, democracy is about contestation of ideas. It's about plurality. It's about people having different truths, actually. Now, fundamentally, how society lives together.
People having different truths? That's called subjectivity. That's not called truth. You go study some freaking philosophy, Soros.
Civically, in those contestations, is obviously quite tricky. But I think that if we play too much on this disinformation card, we're taking responsibility away from ourselves to actually create a narrative that inspires people to vote and to believe, in democracy and democratic.
Part of me actually feels bad for him. He does not have a speech impediment. I'm not making fun of a man with a speech impediment. This is a man who is absolutely vapid, trying to think in real time to sound intelligent. It's like, maybe if I long enough, I'm gonna think of something remotely intelligent to say. Oh yeah, what did he just say? Truth is subjective? No, he didn't say that. He said subject. I forget what he said. Doesn't matter. It's like it's melting all of our respective brains.
Institutions. On the institutional part, I think that we can talk about institutions as these abstract things, but institutions are also about people. And
institutions are also about people. What the hell does that mean? I mean, that's like this is verbal diarrhea. Institutions are also about people. Oh, I thought institutions were about robotic dogs. Maybe if they build robotic dogs, maybe if it's like that Boston dynamic, maybe that institution is about robotic dogs.
We just heard this point about untrustworthy people, and we talked about things in the United States.
That'll be you.
Like checks and balances, which aren't written anywhere, but are customs.
I'm sorry. George Soros, Alex Soros, I'm no American constitutionalist yet. Checks and balances, what did he just say? What did he just say?
Like checks and balances, which aren't written anywhere. But
I'm sorry. Checks and balances are not written anywhere? Sort of like in the 3 branches of governments, the judicial, the executive, and the legislative? Oh, no, the checks and balances aren't written anywhere except in the freaking Constitution, you brain-dead jackass.
Our customs, and one man, Donald Trump, literally came in and just took that all away.
Oh, he literally did it? Not metaphorically, not metaphysically, not spiritually. He literally did it? Surely you could show me the video where Donald Trump literally came in and took away those customs of checks and balances. You dumbass. Oh, it was Donald Trump who said, don't listen to the Supreme Court. It was Donald Trump who said, we're not going to listen to the Bruin decision. It was Donald Trump who said, we're going to find a workaround as to the Supreme Court's ban on the moratorium. Oh, it was Donald Trump who said, we're going to work around the Supreme Court's tossing of the student loan forgiveness. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, that wasn't Donald Trump. Of course not. That was Joe Biden. But
when I see this, when I look at this, more globally regarding democracy, I also
this should be like his Prince Andrew moment. Who was the one that gave the interview? It was like, actually, I could not sweat at the time when Virginia Guthrie accused me of sexually assaulting her. Actually, I could not sweat at that one particular moment in time because I was at a pizza house down the street. I remember that. That was his last interview. This should be Alex Soros' last public appearance because quite clearly he's unfit for the role that has been bestowed to him by his evil father.
Say to myself, when was this great time?
When was this great time in America? Oh my God.
That everybody got along so well. And
I'll tell you when. When everyone got along, it was pre-Obama. I can tell you when it was in Canada. It was pre-Justin Trudeau. It's amazing how the lefty ideologies come into power and sow discord and division among a population. I remember living in a world where race, ethnicity, religion, nobody cared about it in the good way. I remember that. I'm old enough to remember that. Oh, when was America ever great? Because
things were going so great. I mean, I think,
There's a loop here. He breaks down soon.
I think that we really have to be careful here in this nostalgia for a time past, because a lot
Do you know what this is called? This is called demoralizing. We have to be careful of the nostalgia for the better time. No, we don't. We have to aspire to bring it back. He gets into a full breakdown of like he couldn't get out of it for a second.
the reactions we're seeing in society are actually reactions to positive things, like like equality for women, and greater diversity, which come with backlash.
Everybody, I'm sorry for having melted brain cells for that extensive period of time. The only remedy to having brain cells melted like that is to have Barnes's big brain come in here and rehabilitate us. Sir, you ready to come in? Robert, how you doing, sir? Sorry. Hi. It's mind-numbing. Do tell us how goes the battle while I go to locals to see if our audio levels are checked out.
Sounds good. Good. The got to travel tonight on a red eye to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Got some big cases up there of some disturbing things that are happening at the governmental level and the continuous assault on the Amish, also defending people who were wrongfully fired for their religious objection to a vaccine mandate by the company 3M, and a range of other work activities up there to take care of, but particularly focused on Amos Miller's matters. As they continue to escalate their attack on Amos Miller, defending Rueben King, an Amish farmer who the feds want to put in prison for up to 5 years, and while forfeiting, as the judge is happy and eager to do and just sign right off on, despite the objections raised, of his entire lifetime supply, lifetime collection of a range of old guns and mixed guns, all because he didn't get a permit. This is where the world is going. If you don't agree to let them super govern your life, waive and forfeit all your rights, get a permit for basic living activities, then they're going to lock you up. And they're going to start with the Amish, the least threatening community to safety or health that exists in America by a long mile. Imagine in Philadelphia, and you're focused on gun issues, isn't the gangs of northern Philadelphia, but is rather Amish farmers living out in the countryside. What does that tell you about the Biden administration? What does that tell you about our Justice Department? What does it tell you about our Pennsylvania state officials? So a lot of disturbing trends up there, and we're going to do what we can to fight back.
Robert, hold on one second. I accidentally brought up a video. I was going to ask you something. We're going to talk about Rueben King, I guess, in greater detail, because I got my questions about it. So you said you're on a red eye. We have time for the show, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's red eye Vegas time. So get in at like 7 a.m., have some meetings, do a deposition. Hopefully that doesn't go all day, but the lawyers on the other side are not, they're corporate lawyers, put it that way. So that usually doesn't always go as well as it could if people were reasonable. Then meet up with, I've been meetings all day, meeting with Rueben to prepare him for the sentencing issues. Then Tuesday afternoon is his sentencing issues in Philadelphia. But on the White Pill side, those that follow over at sportspicks.locals.com, we won another big 5% play just a few minutes ago as the Detroit Lions won and covered the spread against the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, I thought you were going to our added topic of the night that people won on the DeSantis. I didn't know if there was any gambling on that.
The board requested two extra topics. One, the evidence that came out in the Dominion trial in Atlanta, and the Mark Stein defamation case about Michael Mann that's going forward in Washington, D.C. So we'll cover those as well. But yes, right at the top, certain predictions. I got a lot of heat for it. I just, a couple weeks ago where he said, after Iowa, DeSantis won't do well. He's going to drop out. People said, "You're nuts, Barnes. I want," and they said they wanted to bet, and I said, "Okay, how much?" And they're like, "Well, hold on a second. Let me get back to you." But man, poor Dave Rueben. I hope he's in recovery mode. Some of these folks predicting DeSantis was going to win Iowa. DeSantis was going to march on. Barnes is crazy. And, of course, DeSantis drops out and endorses Donald Trump today.
Well, it's funny. I literally just tweeted it yesterday. They said, that he has to courteously bow out and wholeheartedly endorse Trump. it was good timing. Robert, I lowered your volume a touch, so I'm going to see if it's good here.
I'll let you play around with it.
So DeSantis is out, wholehearted endorsement of Trump. Does he? I mean, it's obvious that he minimizes his damage. Does he come out of this net positive, or do you think it's still going to be a net
he's
loss?
in severely damaged state. He's going to need a Nixon-esque recovery to bounce back and be nationally relevant. He also deeply antagonized a lot of people in the Trump camp. Like Vivek didn't. Vivek was careful about how he handled that. And, Trump stepped on him at the end to let him know, big dog, you little dog. But Vivek handled it well. And what does he do? He drops out. And Trump's, bringing him up there on stage and saying nice stuff about him and saying we're going to, Vivek played it right. DeSantis did not play it right. But this is the best move he's made in his whole campaign is drop out, endorse Trump.
No, I said Vivek, Trump gave him a little bit of a kick, but Vivek, I think, probably could acknowledge he crossed a line with that particular video. Maybe he went
he took a gamble. It's worth the gamble. I don't think even Trump Trump respects competition. He doesn't disrespect it. The way DeSantis went about it is what antagonized Trump. He had people in DeSantis's camp, including DeSantis himself, lied directly to Trump's face. That's not something he forgets. That's why Nikki Haley has no future. Nikki Haley lied right to Trump's face. There's not a chance she has. There's things you can get away with. You just can't lie right to Trump's face.
What did Nikki lie about? About running against him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Said, I will never, ever run against you. Ever. You're the best.
Well, and
DeSantis, by the way, made similar statements.
Well,
that's why it was idiotic. I mean, the wife probably is going to need to go to therapy for at least, Governor DeSantis' wife for probably at least 3 months. She's been measuring the carpets, measuring the drapes. She's been measuring everything in the White House.
So that is the big news. I was listening to a Twitter space with Patrick Bet-David, Sebastian Gorka. Robert, what's your opinion of Sebastian Gorka? I don't know.
War whore MI6 plant. War whore MI6 plant. He can rot. By the way, he came after me when I exposed him as a war whore. He falsely blamed me for managing the Jones trials, Alex Jones trials. Like, I wasn't in those trials. We were public commenters on those trials, and we've been vindicated by our public commentary about those trials. But that's who Gorka is. He's anti-Alex Jones. He pimps for Zelensky. If you go back further, weird history. Let's just put it that way. Daddy or grandpa, I think, might have some interesting histories there in Central Europe. Around 1940s, put it that way. So that's my view of Gorka. Look, he's got a good voice. He pretends to be a populist half the time. That's his grift. I found that out years before he was war whoring and all the rest. Dealt with his wife in a back room at Fox and listened in on a conversation between her and I was like, oh, okay. I know how they're grifters. They're DC grifters, looking for the next grift to the next grift to the next grift.
All right, Robert, why can't I bring up, it used to be that I would be able to, son of a beasting, that it would hold up the super chat so that I could keep them flagged. Why can I not star any of the comments? Okay, I don't know what's going on. Can you all commend a good attorney in Idaho for insurance fraud case paid for 4 years of coverage only to find they don't cover that area?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because some of those cases we'll take a look at, and sometimes we'll know people who will. You can always go to the contact page at Barnes Law, LLP is in Peter.com. Go to the contact page, and that's where I get information. Now, if you send something in and I don't respond, I can't respond to everything. The other problem is ethics rules sometimes people will interpret any response as, oh, now you're my lawyer. Mm-hmm. So practically speaking, I can't respond to everybody. Doesn't mean I didn't read it. That didn't mean I don't care about the case. It just means I don't have time at this moment to commit to it. But that's where, if you want legal information, that's where to go.
Robert, but before we go over to
the book is called The Door Rebellion. Turns out it was a great democratizing rebellion in Rhode Island. And my brother found out we had a bunch of ancestors that helped start the whole thing. And I was like, sweet. No, some of them ended up in prison, some of them ended up hung and some other things. But hey, they were on the right side. So I had the book, The Door Rebellion. I had no idea a bunch of my grandpappies were involved in it.
Robert, before we go over to Rumble exclusively, and I've given everyone the links, let's talk about the one that I don't care if we are or not allowed talking about it, but I think we are because it's a current pending court case. This is the case in front of Totenberg.
Yep.
What state is it now?
Georgia.
Is it It's in Georgia. And this is going back to the 2016 election, not the 2020 election.
2018 election.
2018, sorry. And there were questions about the safetiness, that's not the word, the unhackability of Dominion voting machines. And allegedly, I haven't been following it in thorough detail, but allegedly, from what I understand, in the courtroom, some experts showed how he could basically hack the Dominion voting machines within 5 minutes, give or take, and which is going to cause Totenberg to assess whether or not they can be used in the upcoming election. Have I misunderstood that, or is that about right?
That's correct. So this is a Democratic lawsuit. This is the Democratic candidates suing the Republican Secretary of State, Brad Ratberger. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his last name. Who, for the 2018 election, including the lieutenant governor candidate, who lost, the Democratic candidate who lost, and Totenberg, very liberal Democratic judge, no sympathy whatsoever to the 2020 election challenges by Team Trump, who's presiding over this trial. And they represent an older movement within the Democratic Party, more the Democratic left, the Bobby Kennedy populist left, that has never liked machines involved in elections. People have forgotten this movement even existed because of everything that happened post-2020. But questioning elections and questioning presidential elections and questioning machines, what has been a Democratic tradition, not a Republican one. Republicans have generally pushed machines, including the Diebold and other machines used in Ohio in 2004, controversially. Robert Kennedy suggested after 2004 that Bush stole Ohio in 2004 related to voting machines. So it was always interesting that all of a sudden this became a Democratic defense and Republican rallying call. So the Democratic lieutenant governor brings suit, and he says Dominion doesn't have a reliable system, because Dominion was new to Georgia, I think, in 2018. They got a big fat contract from the same corrupt hack governor, that Governor Kemp, that is now refusing to remove Fani Willis despite the obvious overt controversies of corruption concerning her in her prosecution of Team Trump. Ratberger is his buddy, in tow. And they gave a big fat contract to Dominion in which they made a lot of promises to the public that they've never kept, including that they would publish the ballots from every single major election. They never have. That was one of the key promises they made when they wrote that big multi-seven-figure check to Dominion. Well, I was told early on when I was working for Trump in 2020, after the election, figuring out what happened down there, don't ask any questions about Dominion. Don't ask any questions about this activity because of deep Republican ties. And I was like, well, we're going to go there anyway. But it was like, I don't think machines are our key problem. It's get the signatures to match. And if they don't, we get a new election. Unfortunately, everything got sidetracked by Sidney Powell and Lynn Wood and all that. But one of the cases I was following and at that time back then was the 2018 case. Because after 2018, Lieutenant Governor Sued and said, I think these not an election contest, but said these violate my voting rights and other rights because of how these machines operate, that they're hackable, that they don't reliably print ballots, that they interrupt the chain of custody of ballots because they can print their own ballots, and a range of other, and that the wrong ballot, you can mark it for one, and the printed ballots show something else, and that we basically should get rid of machines. No Dominion machines. This is a problem. And then the other issues involving certain constituencies being underserved by the machines, etc. Totenberg has now taken the case all the way through to trial. The media won't cover it. And what's fascinating is they were covering it back in 2019. They won't cover it now because even though it's a Democratic judge with Democratic lawyers and a Democratic plaintiff suing a Republican, an elected official, media won't cover it because it damns the Dominion machines. And this week, live, the plaintiff's expert showed the judge just how hackable Dominion's voting machines still are by hacking them live right in court, disproving any claim otherwise. All these people say, well, there were 44 or 62 cases and blah, blah, blah. Not only they misconstrue those cases, this case is damning everything they've said in defense of Dominion. Also makes you wonder, why did Fox get that sweetheart deal with Dominion?
$780 million less we forget.
When the Democrats are proving how ridiculous the Dominion machines are, how unreliable and untrustworthy they are in live time in federal court before a Democratic judge. So, yes, it's an interesting case to continue to follow because the evidence will continue to be damning about Dominion and how they're unreliable, untrustworthy. We shouldn't have machines we should count it just like the way Taiwan just did. Paper ballots,
day of,
seen, live counted in live time by human beings.
Robert, I just got to read the way Courthouse News Service, which has to report on Courthouse News, the way they're framing it. Details of voting equipment breach. Details of voting equipment breach emerge in Dominion security trial.
Is that the biggest hack job in the world, to be the headline writer for the mainstream media? You figure out, how do I lie about this? How do I fudge this? How do I make this sound Orwellian? It's like they read Orwell's 1984 as a guidepost. Oh, this is how we call this newspeak. Okay, how do I make good newspeak?
Listen to this. While the lawsuit was filed in 2017, events that occurred immediately following the 2020 presidential election took up the court's time on Friday. It took up the court's time. Listen to this. During the fourth day of trial, Friday, in the lawsuit over security Dominion voting machines in Georgia, details surrounding a hack coordinated by co-defendants of former President Donald Trump in the Peach State's election subversion took center. They hacked the bloody machines in court, but it's taken up some of the court's time.
They make it sound like, they documented how Trump did something sneaky during the election. I mean, this is how deceptive and dishonest the media. They just lie about everything.
It's outrageous. The copying of confidential election data from an elections office in rural Coffee County was purportedly arranged by a group of individuals who are now indicted. Oh yeah. They showed how they could be hacked.
Misleading this is. This whole story makes it sound like, they proved Trump committed a crime in court. That's not at all what happened.
It's unbelievable. And it's just for the.
In fact, Trump has nothing to do with the trial. It's simply to show how hackable the machines are, which goes back to, again, Democrats are bringing these claims. These are Democratic lawyers, Democratic plaintiffs, Democratic experts, Democratic judges. They're the ones proving Dominion is a joke.
We are 4,500 strong here. Get off YouTube. And the link to Rumble is there. Let's see the number go down while I just blast through a couple of these super chats. Viva Frei, how did Robert's oral argument for Children's Health Defense Fund go before the Fifth Circuit? We talked about it last week. I posted your audio, Robert, to both Rumble and YouTube, and people love it. So go check it out because it's 30 minutes and it's just a solid screen grab, but it's fantastic to hear this. We're going to talk about another hearing today. What is the best way to get a bill to Congress, such as limiting the government's arms possession to what it legal for the average citizen? We'll get there in a bit.
You need a congressman to sponsor it and support it and back it.
Rep Seb Gorska, does he really have a handle on DJT's thoughts, VP cabinet, etc., or is that all speculation?
All speculation.
Theophrastus 3.0. I haven't seen you in a while, Theophrastus. It's been a while since I coughed up some cold, hard cash. Love your channel. Thank you very much. And then we got Gorka is hinting it's going to be a New Yorker. So Zeldin?
No, he's just pushing Stefanik like Stefanik is pushing her own name. I think that's her name. I may be mispronouncing her name. My bet's still on Ben Carson.
My bet is as unlikely as it is.
But my favorite is still Carrie Lake and J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, for example, made a wonderful point this week when he said, the Nikki Haley was in bed, totally in bed with lobbyists in South Carolina. And for those on the inside, they know that's a double entendre because she was quite literally in bed with lobbyists in South Carolina.
Oh, well, that news just broke this week, and she keeps phrasing tweets in such a way that it makes that joke very easy to make. All right, people, get your butts on over to Rumble. If you don't want to go to Rumble for whatever the reason, that's be crazy talk, go to Locals and consider joining as a member, which would be non-paying, or consider supporting our work on Locals. $10 a month, $100 a year at the discount. Robert, it did go up to $10 a month, right?
Yeah. It's $10 a month, $100 a year. You get live Q&As, Bourbons with Barnes, live shows with Viva, live shows with me, live special shows, special editions, Barnes Briefs, Breakfast with Barnes, movie club, live chat weeks. You get to ask questions and get answers. You get a lot of fantastic content at vivabarneslaw.locals.com. And our topics tonight that you'll get over on Rumble are bonus topic off the top. Mark Stein goes to trial against Michael Mann in the famous hockey stick case. Alec Baldwin finally indicted on a theory that Viva had from the inception in part. Fani Willis Yeah, as Viva calls her, Big Fanny's in some big trouble. Jack Smith has got dodged his contemptuous conduct because of the D.C. court's prejudice. Trump show trials in New York continue to embarrass the rule of law in America. Chevron, oral argument that we talked about last week. We just had the oral argument. What does it presage for the future of the administrative state? Homeless rights. We talked about it briefly last week. Well, now it's going up to the Supreme Court of the United States. Big Second Amendment win in the Third Circuit. A very dangerous Second Amendment impacting case in the case of Amish farmer Rueben King, who is facing 5 years in federal prison and forfeiture of his life's collection. No immunity for false charges by bad prosecutorial behavior. That's another white pill moment. When do you own your social media and when does somebody else own it? It's reaching the federal highest courts as that dispute continues to unravel in a range of contexts and cases. Madonna sued because she's always late. And Twitter parody reaches a jury trial in California.
That's a fun case, everybody. I might even just cover that on a separate vlog, depending on the, well, not even depending on anything, whether or not it's interesting enough, but it's amazing, so stay tuned. All right, that's it. We're leaving. Goodbye, YouTube. We're down 1,200 people here. That's a good sign. There's 3,600 left. Come on over to Rumble or Locals. You have the